Yo, what is up guys? Nick Nakai here, Let's Riff Media. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Happy New Year's everyone. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but today we are going to be doing spark plugs on a 2GR-FE on this beautiful Lexus 2018 ES350. So tools we're going to need for this: spark plug, pocket screwdriver, 1/4 inch ratchet with a 12mm socket, 3/8 ratchet or 3/8 impact, 10mm spark plug socket, or like I use a 16mm, works fine. Allen head bolt, 5mm, couple extensions and 3/8, a torque wrench if you want to torque the spark plugs, brake clean if you want to clean the throttle body since we're going to be there, and a cordless ratchet. Really helps speed up the process. So not much. As you guys can see, this is the 2GR-FE. I believe it's the 3.5 liter V6, Toyota's V6. You'll find this engine and transmission combo in this Lexus ES350, the same year Camrys, Highlanders, Toyota Siennas, and I believe the Lexus RX, the SUV looking thing, one of the smaller ones. So if you need spark plugs done, you're a little handy with the wrench. You can save yourself a lot of money versus taking it to the dealer or a shop, because it's really not that bad. First timers, you could probably have it done in a couple of hours. So first thing you want to do is pop off this cover like that. Now with the cover off, you can see the front three, 1, 2, 3, are going to be super easy. I'll literally just pop off this 10mm bolt. Each one, disconnect the coil pack, pull the coil pack out, and unthread the spark plug. It's the rear three that are a pain in the ass. Now on this particular model, you can sneak them out through the back. It's a little bit of a pain, but if we're at the dealer flat rate, we would go ahead and sneak it out. But for the purpose of this video, so you guys can actually see behind there, you can choose which way you want to do it. We are going to have to remove this intake manifold assembly. You can see it's got a couple Allen bolts, a 10 on each side. There's 2 Allens in the middle, another 10 over here. We're gonna have to disconnect this air boot, pull out the air filter box, and we'll pull this whole air box assembly off out of the way. And then on the very back, it's probably gonna be a little hard to show you since I can't fit the camera back there, but there should be 2 brackets holding the intake manifold, 2 right under the valve cover. So those should be 12mm bolts. Have to kind of just sneak a wrench back here, loosen them up, loosen the other one up. We'll go ahead and unplug this electrical connector, and that should be it. It's really not that bad of a job. To some it may seem like a lot, but it's really a quite simple job to remove this intake manifold. So we're gonna go ahead and get to it. Alright, so we got the intake manifold off. Yeah, and it was 1 stud here, 2 here, 2 here, 1 here. You're going to want to head and put a rag over here, because this is the actual intake for the air that's going to go into the cylinders. You want to make sure you don't drop anything in there. But here is one of the 12mm bolts that hold the intake manifold on, and here is the other one. So you can see these brackets kind of, we are going to have to take this bracket off. There's another bolt down there that's covering the coil pack, but after we do that, we should be good. See, I unplugged all these connectors over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. That way I can unhook this off of that and give myself access to get that bolt in the back. I went ahead and disconnected the throttle body, those 410s, from the intake manifold because it has the coolant lines running to it, and I didn't want to mess with that, make a mess, so just kind of let that hang down there. See, here's the air box with all the connectors, hoses. Be careful on these little nipples, they snap if they're old, so just take your time taking them off. Don't just rip it, break that, and then you need a whole new box. Mass airflow sensor. That's pretty much it for the airbox top cover. This is the back of the intake manifold. You can see there's one of the 12s. Here's another one right by where the throttle body goes. This line goes to the brake booster. Down there, master cylinder. So turned it around. This is pretty much what we got of the intake manifold. And make sure you replace these gaskets too. While you're at it, you might as well put some new factory ones on. But yeah, we're moving along, so we're gonna go ahead and pop off these 3 bolts, unplug these coil packs, slide the coil packs out, then unbolt the spark plugs, pull the spark plugs out, put the new ones in. Same here on the back. Remove this bracket, then we could get access to that coil pack bolt, disconnect, remove. Same right here on this cylinder, and same right here for the final cylinder. And then remove the spark plugs. Alright, just like that, we got the old spark plugs out. We'll be feeding our new ones in. NGK and Denso, they're pretty good if you got the good ones. And most spark plugs becoming pre-gapped, so you don't really need to worry about gapping the spark plugs. Let's see. The back ones still were kind of a pain to pull out just because it's very back there, but a lot easier having the intake manifold off so you can actually see what you're doing. But if you get good enough, you can just sneak back there and do it. Make sure when you do put the new spark plugs in, don't just drop them down. I usually feed them down with my finger, hold it, let it slide in so that way you don't bend the tip of the spark plug. And torque spec on this, I believe, is 13 foot-pounds each spark plug. So not super tight. Don't go crazy on them, as well as don't go crazy on the coil pack bolt. Those will strip out of this aluminum valve cover fairly easy. So yeah, we're just gonna unbox these, install the spark plugs, reinstall the coil packs, reinstall that 12mm bracket, and then go ahead and just put the intake manifold back on and go in the reverse order that we did to remove everything. All right, so just like that, intake manifold is back on. All our connectors are back in. One tip I forgot to mention is probably tighten the 12 millimeters on the back first and then tighten this, because sometimes if they're not aligned a little bit, it's hard to tighten it. And since you don't really have much room back there, I recommend doing that first, since these are obviously a lot easier to get to. So now just gonna start plugging everything back in, put the airbag box back on. See the throttle body? It's got a little bit of carbon buildup. So since you're already here, especially if you're watching this, you're probably doing it on your own car, go ahead and get a rag, some brake clean, and clean up this throttle body. You can open it like that by hand. Don't worry, you're not going to damage anything. Wipe all around the plate and on the inside, get all that carbon off. And you should notice a nice difference when you go to drive the vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and clean that up, bolt it back on, then just plug in all our vacuum hoses. Don't forget this one for your brake booster. Put that clamp back on, so let's get to it. All right, so just like that, got everything back together. Don't forget to tighten the air boot, plug in your mass airflow sensor, plug in your vacuum lines, one here, one here, one here, one here on the intake manifold, and one on the air duct. And that's pretty much it. Maybe do a once over, make sure you tightened everything down, make sure your coil packs are all plugged back in. Check the connections on the left side and pop that cover back on. But you'll know right away if you forgot to plug something in, because you'll probably get a check engine light. And one thing to note, sometimes when you do clean the throttle body, the engine idle will start kind of fluctuating a little bit. That's normal. Give it a good test drive, and if it doesn't go away, either use a scan tool to clear all the codes or just disconnect the battery for a couple minutes, then plug it back in. I remember at the dealer sometimes that would happen, but besides that, we should be good to go. So we'll go ahead and fire it up, make sure we're good, and call it a day. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, this spark plug tutorial applies to any Toyota with this 2GR-FE front-wheel drive V6 engine. So let me know if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace!